And then there was this girl who came up to me, pointed her finger at my face and said, "This kid just roasted me like nobody else did before." Embarrassing stories! That's what we are talking about today. We've all been through some situations that you remember to this day, and hopefully you can just laugh them off. And I have a bunch of these stories from my trips to Japan, because where else can you embarrass yourself more than in a country that has completely different set of social rules? All of the stories I'm going to share with you today are from my volunteering trip back in 2015, and I've made a bunch of videos about that as well, so if you are interested you can go check them out later. But of course, because I'm going to share some personal memories with you, I would like you to consider clicking the like button and subscribing if you find this video entertaining. But let's get to the first story, which is about onsen. Onsen is a hot spring, and Japan is filled with hot springs, and they built resorts around them. And it's a place where you're supposed to go to relax, unwind, and also socialize. And socialize I did indeed. The whole concept works like this. You walk into an onsen, you pay your admission, and then you walk into the changing room. Those changing rooms are separated for men and women because they bathe separately. So you walk into the changing room where you're supposed to take all of your clothes off, and then naked you walk into another area that's filled with showers around. You never wear a swimming suit or anything like that, you're just completely naked. You are provided with the soap and shampoo, and you are supposed to clean yourself from head to toe. You really have to be immaculate with your washing and just wash everything. Every inch of your body has to be washed and soaked in water, basically. There is no way that you can just like wash yourself for 10 seconds and just go in the water. That's a big no-no in Japan, and never do that. You're taking a bath with strangers after all. Like, you don't want some stinky dude to come from like, I don't know, 9 hours of work and just jump in the same water as you are. So you're hoping that other people are clean and you should be clean as well. After you clean yourself, there are usually two baths. One that's like indoors and one that's outdoors. Not always there will be two of them, sometimes there can be just one, but for the most part I've always seen like two. One is indoors, one is outdoors. Now, I didn't know any of that when I first went. I told you before that I was there as a volunteer, so I think this was like the first week in Japan where everything was kind of new and we didn't know anything, and we decided that it would be nice to go to an onsen, you know, like just after work, go relax in hot water. Sounded perfect. So my friend went with the female Japanese coworker and I went with the male Japanese coworker, and they were supposed to like show us around and tell us how it's done, you know. The problem was that the guy didn't speak that much English, or like he spoke English, we could communicate, but he couldn't express everything he wanted to say, I guess. So we got naked and went into the shower, and it was already kind of strange because I barely knew the guy and there was a bunch of other strangers, everybody was naked, and we were taking a shower. And then we moved on to the inside pool. The inside pool, you don't have to like immediately go in. There is usually like a bucket next to it that you can just like put the water in and just pour it over yourself, you know, just like warm yourself up. I guess he didn't know how to express that. So what we did, basically, we just squatted right next to the inside pool. So we were like squatting like this, and he, instead of explaining to me what to do, he just grabbed the bucket and started pouring the water over my naked body, and I was just squatting there like, what am I doing here? I'm in the middle of Japan, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and there's a naked dude next to me, basically showering me? What? I just wanted to relax. Look, I understand. He couldn't speak English properly, he couldn't explain, but you don't have to speak English to me. Like, you can just say that in Japanese. You can just say, look, bucket, water, pour over yourself. Now you do it. And I will get it, you know, no problem. I think I'll totally understand that, even if you say this in Russian or Chinese, I don't know. But you don't have to have immaculate English to explain this to me. I don't know why he decided that it would be the best idea to do it himself, but there we were. Just two dudes sitting in a hot tub, 2 inches apart. It's maybe not the most embarrassing, it's just kind of funny, you know. And since then, at least, like, I really got used to onsens and just like going naked to these places and not be embarrassed by other people around me and just not caring, you know. Like, it's a really nice thing. If you ever go to Japan, you definitely should go to onsen. It's a really nice experience and I definitely recommend it to everyone. But yeah, that first time is just unforgettable, basically. I don't think I can ever forget this. So that is like one of the first memories from Japan I remember, but because I spent like 3 months, I managed to learn some Japanese, and not much. I was always curious about words and phrases, and I was always asking people like, what is this and how do you say that, you know? And at the end, like, I could basically like order food or coffee and just walk around and be kind of comfortable with like directions maybe, you know, and stuff like that. But there was this situation that I got into when we were working with small local businesses in a small town somewhere up north in Japan. And we basically had groups of students, high school students, that were working with us and the small businessmen. My group was supposed to help this older Japanese man that had like a little farm with tomatoes and cucumbers, and we were supposed to like create like a product and sell it to some other people. So what happened was that we went through the whole thing. It took like a week, you know. We were putting together like a presentation and spending the time with him, and he was showing us his business and all sorts of stuff. And I think that he liked me, you know. We were talking a lot, or like a lot. I didn't speak Japanese like fluently. I didn't speak on a conversational level, but I always had like people around who spoke English, so they would like translate in between. Like I said, I was always curious about words, you know, and for me, when I'm learning a new language, I'm always trying to learn like the filler words that you use in conversation. Like, you know, when someone's talking and you're just like saying like, really? Ah, okay. You know, like these little things that can really make you sound like you understand, but you don't really. Basically, what I learned is that anytime anybody's speaking in Japanese, you can just like confirm by saying like, oh, so desu ka? Oh, so desu ne. A lot of these little things that sounds ridiculous or something, but they actually use this in the conversation. So I learned all these little words, and then few days before we had like this final dinner, I've learned a new word, and I used it with, you know, other people, but nobody ever said anything. So we were having a dinner, and the older gentleman was sitting next to me, and he was talking to me, and he was making jokes like, oh, you should move into Japan, you know, and have 9 kids and Japanese wife, and it'll be great. And he was telling me about like his family and his kids and stuff. So I was going through my classic, you know, filler words like, oh, so desu ka? Oh, so desu ne. Ah, so. And then I decided it's time to bring my new gun into the game, you know? I use so desu ne, I use so desu ka. I was like, I want to change this up. So we were talking, and he was telling me something about his wife or something like that, and I just looked at him and said, oh, majide. And he looked at me, frowned, straight in the eyes. Majide. And I was like immediately, oh my god. What did I just say? I messed up. I fucked up. Fuck. In the meantime, my friend was sitting next to me and translating in between, and he taught me all these new words. You know, he was like having a mental breakdown. He was like, oh, no, stop. Don't say that, please. What did I just say? I don't know. Basically, what he explained to me, he was like, no, please don't say that. That's a word that you use only with friends and never with someone older than you. Because in Japan there's this system called Keigo that you use, and you talk in different ways and you use different grammar and different words with different people. It depends if it's your older brother, younger brother, mother, teacher, friend, employee, or your boss or something. There's always like a level that you choose between, and you have to know that. You have to know these words, and some of these words you just can't use outside of that bracket, let's say. And majide turns out that is not a thing that you just say to an older person. And I didn't know that. How was I supposed to know that, you know? Come on. So this Japanese grandpa, he was like super outraged that I just said that word to him, and I was like, oh my god. Okay, I'm making a mental note. This is something that I will never forget, and I will probably like tell this story to my grandchildren or something, and just tell them like, look, if you ever go to Japan, never say majide to an older person. Say it with your friends, that's cool, but never say that with someone that's like older or above you. So that was a big lesson. And now it's time for the most embarrassing story. That's actually embarrassing, because these two, they're not that embarrassing, you know, like they're kind of funny, and I've made some mistakes, whatever, that happens. But this one, oh my god, I have to prepare myself mentally for that. So I told you that I was volunteering, and we were working also with kids a lot. Like we were going around different places, different areas, and we were just visiting daycare centers or schools, and we'd be spending time in like a gym or something, and just running around and playing games, you know, and then just having lunch with them or something like that. And there was this one place that I think I just mentally blocked from my memory, because I don't remember where it was exactly, but it was all in this Tohoku region, you know, up north. And so we were doing our normal stuff, as always, just playing, running around, teaching them some games that we played as kids in Czech Republic. And there was this one girl that came to me. Okay, wait, before I get to this girl, there's actually, I just remembered, there's one more story that's embarrassing, weird, kind of strange, I guess, and I think it's worth talking about as well. So there is this thing in Japan called Kancho, and Kancho consists of two things. One is fingers like this, and the other is your ass. That sounds weird, I know, and it is weird. So this is like a thing that boys do. Girls will never do Kancho, or like I've never heard of that. I've always heard that this is like a guy thing, like a boys playing around or whatever. So it's like a prank basically, where when someone's in like a weird position or something, another guy will come up, puts fingers like this, and just like full force, just fingers your butt basically. So yeah, I didn't know about that as well until I got there, and some of these boys thought that it would be funny to do it to me because I'm a stranger as well. So they were doing it in between each other, and one of the boys just sneaked up on me and just full force, and I was like, what just happened? But because it was like the first time, I was trying to be like, ha ha ha, I got pranked, you got me. Because how am I supposed to react, like this is like a cultural thing and I can't do anything about that, so I just laughed it off basically. And then it happened the second time, and I started to get like really uncomfortable at that point. I was like, oh my god, what is happening to me right now? I just got fingered. Basically. Okay, you are clothed. This is not, oh my god, this is not in Onsen. You never do that. Like naked, I guess. This is like you are fully clothed, don't worry. But it just hurts, it's just a hurtful thing. When we were kids, like we would do like the, twisting arms or whatever, that's like hurting as well. So Japanese boys do this thing. And then when it happened the third time, I was like, oh, okay, that's it. I draw the line here. You did it 3 times, it was funny, haha, we laughed. It's over now. But okay, I got sidetracked because this was like so ridiculous, I just remembered it. But I want to get to that girl and what happened in that situation. So, we were basically playing around, we were in the gym and running around, all the kids and the teachers from the school. And then there was this girl who came up to me, pointed her finger at my face and said, "Chinge haiteru? Chinge haiteru?" And I didn't know what that means at all. Like, my Japanese was, okay level, I guess. Like I said, I could order coffee and stuff, but I didn't know these words, like the conversational level or whatever. I just knew that she's asking me a question. Basically, that's all I knew. So for me, it was not embarrassing at the moment because I was just like, okay, she's asking me something, she wants something, and she repeated again and again, like, "Chinge haiteru, chinge haiteru." I was like, okay, I have no idea what she's saying. So I went to our coordinator and I said, look, there's this girl and she came up to me and she said "Chinge haiteru." What does that mean? And she just lost it. She was like, oh my god, no, damn it, stop. I cannot answer what this means. Please go ask like the guy or someone who they will explain to you what it means. And I was like, what? What did this like 12-year-old child just told me that you are so embarrassed to even like translate? What the hell? So I came up to this guy, the volunteer, and I told him like, look, this girl just told me something, and our coordinator, she doesn't want to translate because it was like super embarrassing or something. I don't know. What does "Chinge haiteru" mean? And he just started laughing so hard. By the way, this is the same dude that was pouring water over me in buckets just a few weeks before, and now he's just like laughing his ass off at me. Yeah, so basically she asked me if I have pubic hair on my face. Okay, this is 2015, okay, this is 6 years ago. My beard was a little bit scruffy, I was still in the phase of growing it. It didn't look as amazing as it does now, of course. Did I really deserve to be mocked by a child? I don't know. Probably, maybe, I guess I did. This kid just roasted me like nobody else did before. Apparently chin also means dick in Japanese, and yeah, so I've learned some new words at least, like it was a nice vocabulary lesson, I guess. I'm not gonna lie, I will never forget that. That's like burnt into my memory and my mind forever. So yeah, I told you about bathing naked with other people, being fingered, mocked that I have pubic hair on my face, and then screwing up Japanese as well. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. This was not informational at all. This is just like a funny thing that I wanted to share with you, because there's always, there are always embarrassing things that happen to you, and I think it's good is always to just look back at those things and just like laugh them off. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like button, subscribe, and I will see you next time. But until then, ciao.